Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another MPJ new rock album review show where we review the latest rock albums. And today on the panel we have Dom, we have Simon, we have Trish, we have Pete, and we have William. Welcome, gang.
Hello.
Hi. So, now, will this be a controversial thing? Because we are reviewing the legends, the ones that sat on the top of the pile right now in the rock world. Sleep Token, even in Arcadia. Let's start then. Pete, big fan. I know you flew all the way over to Cardiff to watch them recently. I know you're a massive fan. Was this a good Sleep Token album? Did it sit up there with everything they've done? And what did you think?
I gotta say, first of all, that I'm surprised we're reviewing Sleep Token, because we're supposed to review music here, and Sleep Token transcends music.
Oh.
Like, Sleep Token are the guys that looked at music and were like, why are people putting things in cages with labels and genres, and why don't we just take all the genres and make something? And they've done that brilliantly. This is their fourth album now. I've been a fan since their second album. Their third album, of course, being Take Me Back to Eden, which, if you need to give that a rating out of 5, it will be somewhere around 11,000 out of 5. So that's just a very, very high bar they set for themselves. Which is why at first, listening to this album, I was kind of disappointed, because they seem to be going for a lot more safety with this album. There's not so much experimentalness in it. There's a lovely little saxophone here and there, a little bit of jazzy things. Just not the level of craziness that I'm used to from them. This album is definitely a lot more pop, a lot more hip hop, a lot more mainstream, if you even will. Having said that, I kept coming back to it. I kept listening to it. Like, I just wake up with a song in my head, as I always do, and oftentimes it's a Sleep Token song when after this album released. Listening to some songs, like when I listened to Dangerous the first time, I was like, okay, so where's the guest vocals from Snoop Dogg, and when's Dr. Dre going to kick in on the mic? That's how hip-hop that song was. But I kept listening to it, and at some point I was just like, I want to listen to Dangerous, and I can't wait for the drop. Gets the Main, the penultimate track. At first I was like, what the bloody hell is this, guys? And now I've listened to it over and over again, and now I low-key think it's the biggest banger on the album. So, yeah, you just gotta keep listening to this album, and it gets better and better and better every time you listen to it. Even in Arcadia, the title track is hauntingly beautiful. Infinite Bass is a beautiful way to finish it off. It's brilliant. It took me a while to really appreciate its beauty, also because it's kind of standing in the shadow of the previous album. At times, I'm like in the song Provider, let me get the lyrics out. I want to be a provider, garner you with silk like a spider. Essel, what does this mean? What the bloody hell? But yeah, all in all, like I said, I keep on listening to this album, and that's saying something.
Simon, then. Sleep Token, fan? Not fan? What?
They're alright.
That's an understatement.
They're alright. Like, as Pete says, and a lot of people say, there's some kind of transcended godhood amazing. No, it's just a band. They're just, music's alright. They're very, very vocal fronted, I find, when I listen to them. All of the emphasis is on his vocals. And it's, I don't know, they're alright. I personally, I don't get into it. I think, as Will said in previous review, like, personally, I'm all about people screaming emotions at me very angrily. And, like, this album's good, but, like, a lot of the songs drag on 6 minutes, 8 minute songs. Like, it's a 56-minute album. Like, it's quite a long album for the same dronic vocals. But he is very talented. The band are good. I understand why people like it and enjoy it, but I find the fervor around it. I think the fans absolutely fucking ruin this band for me. The same, just as they go on and on and on about how godly this band is, and it's just, they're all right, and it's making it worse. So yeah, like you said, you'll see from my score what I think. But yeah, it's good stuff. But For me personally, the album is a little bit a tad on the long side, and like I said, very vocal heavy rather than too much house. But yeah, that's me.
William, Sleep Token.
Hello. Now I want to start by saying, Pete, you and I have started a beautiful, loving friendship over the.
Don't do it. Don't break my heart.
It's fine. I don't get it. Like, my problem is I was never super big into them. But all I heard was people saying they're God's fucking gift to Earth and they're the greatest band ever. And I listened to it and I'm like, this is no better than like anything else. Like, I was seeing someone, I was with someone a while ago, and it was like a couple weeks just after the Emergence came out, and I listened to it and I was like, oh, it's quite cool. A couple weeks later, Up From the Bottom by Linkin Park released, which was a song from their deluxe version of their album, which wasn't good enough to be on their album as a whole. And I was like, that one song is better than this whole album to me. I don't get it.
I love you, Will.
It's like they're so hyped up that if you've not been getting into it before, there's no way you can possibly live up to that hype. So no matter what, if you're going into it having heard all that hype, it's just going to be underwhelming to you. If I'd listened to this album having heard no reviews of Sleep Token before, not heard about them, I think I would have liked it a lot more. But my perspective is just so affected by all of these, the other fans around it who are just so obsessed with it and say how fantastic it is. Yeah, there's good songs here. Caramel it's a good song. You know, him talking about how you know, the pressure of this fame that they've got, and how you know, or I've just got to do. Because obviously this is a lot more mellow of an album than you're saying previous ones were. But saying how no, I want to do my own thing. Kids, I'm just gonna give you what you want now. Screamy bit, which is it's good, but it's him talking about the anxieties of having to be a performer, being up. Him on Keeper's anonymity, being like, "Who is this guy? I want to know who he is. Just let him be who he wants to be. Like, respect this man's privacy, and let him be himself." Which is another thing of like the fans being the worst, because there's this man clearly just wants to perform and have a private life after, and everyone's, "Oh, I want to find out who he is." It's just a bit creepy, mate. Just let him be who he wants to be. It's fine. It is a really solid album. It's good. There's enjoyable good tracks, but I just like a lot of things a lot more, and I like my electric callboy metalcore following in reverse, that kind of a lot more. Resonates better personally.
I gotta say, I completely understand these comments on the fans. I gotta say that the whole mask gimmick is not my thing at all. Like, I've never been a Slipknot fan. I don't care about the guys on stage. I don't care if I know who you are. I probably won't even know who you are. Like, I don't care about the music. But yeah, the fans, they're a bit much. But yeah, you know, Sleep Token is not my favorite band. You know what my favorite band is.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite artists and bands is Falling in Reverse. The lead singer on Falling in Reverse has been a bit of a naughty man in the past. But
Is straight up bonkers.
You separate the art from the artist, right? Like,
Yeah, true.
Just listen to their music, accept who they are. I don't care about them outside of that musical world unless they do something horrendously awful. Like, just let them be a band. Let them just play music and be cool.
I get that.
To enjoy music.
Cool.
I recently started listening to Mental Cruelty, and a friend of mine asked, like, "Oh, where are they from?" And I'm like, "I don't know where they're from. I just listen to their music."
I know, right? What's their names? What's the lead singer there?
Nigel's muted.
Nigel's muted. And he tried out.
Hey. Sorry. I just like people. I agree. It's like, what's the lead singer's name? I don't know. What's the guitarist's name? I don't know. Anyway, but somebody's name we do know, and that's Rock Chick Trish. What about you, Trish? What did Sleep Token do anything for you?
I have heard of Sleep Token, but I've not actually listened to any of their music. I am aware of how hyped up they are currently from talk on the radio about them playing Download Festival this year. I was expecting their music to be quite heavy, dark, melodic, but on first listen to the album, I couldn't have been further from that, as I saw similarities between Bad Omens and The Weeknd mixed. So they are more progressive rock, but with a bit of rap twist to it, electronical influences. I'm sort of on the fence with this album. It is an easy listen, but more rap than rock for me, which is why I probably go to listen to maybe sort of Bad Omens or Body Count for some sort of aggressive rock with that twist to it. The lead's vocals are clear and complement the music well, but at times I found it a bit warbly and distorted in production, which I don't think was a mistake, as it's obviously the sound they were going for on certain tracks. It wasn't a bad listen for my first Sleep Token encounter.
It's never a bad encounter when we talk to Dom. So, Dom, can we finish off? Can we? Well, we won't finish off in positive faction, but let's. In terms of, was this positive for you? I know you're a bit of a Sleep Token fan.
Yeah, I'm a Sleep Token fan. Okay, but I don't really care if this is a rock album or not. I don't really care about the hype. I don't care about them dressing up, all that kind of stuff. There's obviously a lot of hype, a lot of commercialism going on with this band. And I don't really care, because actually this, for me, was just a pretty awesome listen from start to finish. The title track, Look to Windward, I thought was amazing, slowly building tension and energy and excitement, dropping it down to a whisper and then ending with this like gut-wrenching barrage of guitars and vocals fury. I mean, what is there not to like? As the album goes on, I think it constantly dips between heartfelt emotions and his pretty perfect vocals, to be honest with you. There's dance music influence, there's hip-hop, as we've said in there, there's jazz in there, we get saxophone, I heard cello, lots of massive sounding guitars and drums. It's been my main play for the month. And I think that I've actually written probably the best pop song that I've heard in ages in Caramel. Caramel is, I think, just awesome pop song, but love the whole thing.
The screaming in that song, though, is one of the few songs on the album that actually has some screaming in it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it does. It's like pop song that descends into chaos, isn't it, at the end? Yeah.
Totally. You just described it.
Totally.
Yeah, sometimes with hype, you go into it. It's the first album I've listened to Sleep Token, and you go like, and when Guns N' Roses, for example, hit the scene and all the hype in there, and you listen to it and you go, oh, wow, I understand why that's the case. Do you know what I mean? And other kind of bands that have kind of come along where there's been a lot of big hype, and then you listen to the album and you go like, well, yeah, I get it. On this one, I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all. For me, it was a bit of an eclectic mess, really. And I like eclectic. I love the variety in the albums, but I don't think it excelled in anything in particular. I like hip hop rock. I don't think it excelled in that. I obviously didn't like the fact there was some metalcore in there, but it wasn't terrible from that perspective. More accentuated, which is what I rave about. I don't like songs that are 6 to 8 minutes long. They just bore me, and a lot of this album bored me. And I think the problem here is, and there was some good stuff in there. I agree with Caramel was excellent, and there was some good stuff in there, but it was just. I just, and I said to myself, like, am I tarnished by the hype here on the first listen? And I listened to it again, and I listened to it again, and again, it still didn't stir me. It didn't excite me. It didn't kind of go, oh, whatever. And at no point, and I might well have been tarnished a little bit by the hype. But again, I didn't. In the past, I've not really been there. I was genuinely looking forward to listening to the album. I was genuinely interested in terms of what everybody's raving about. Because generally, when that happens, when there is so much hype about a band, generally they are fantastic. And again, it's all down to personal taste. There was nothing bad in this album. It just never really gripped me and resonated with me for me to go back and again. And I can see where people are coming from in terms of, if you kind of immersed yourself more into this, you kind of might get it, but it just didn't work for me. But I would also agree, I didn't think it was a terrible album. It just wasn't really my cup of tea, and it just never really resonated with me, other than some highlightedly cool moments kind of in the album. I see what people think about it, but I don't get the hype. I really don't get it in terms of how good they are in comparison to all my years in rock. When I hear of a band and everybody's raving about it. Royal Blood, for example, I mean, they all, is a really good example where everybody raved about them from years, and then I listened to them and I've gone, yeah, okay, I get it. Right, okay, will it be enough to get into our Hall of Fame? It needs 4 or more, but only 5 votes would count. So, Pete, let's start with you then.
Now, I know you guys are sitting here wondering, when is this stingy Dutch guy going to give out his first 5? So I'm not one to give things a max score, unless I'm rating myself, of course. But I was really on the fence with this one. I kept on listening to this album over and over, and I kept switching scores in my head. Like, what am I going to do with this album? I was also comparing it too much to Take Me Back to Eden, which is unfair because that album is godlike. They set the bar so high for themselves with that album. And then I realized, I remember the first show we did, we were reviewing Spirit Box, and you and I chatted, Nigel. You said, like, oh, I actually expected you to give Spirit Box a 5. And I told you, like, the trick for me is the longevity. Albums that I can listen to any day of any week, those are the albums that get a 5 out of 5. And that's when I realized I kept on listening to this album over and over again, and I'm not getting tired of it. So, drum roll, please. This album, it's getting a 5!
5! The first 5, way! Simon!
3.5.
3.5. I'm going to jump in here with a 2. 2 from me. Dom.
5.
5 from Dom. Trish.
3.5.
3.5. Now then, William. If William gives this a 3 or more, just a paltry 3, all you need is a 3 from William, and this will get into our Hall of Fame. Just a 3, William. Just a 3. What did you give this album?
It's not a 1.
Yay!
It's not a 2.
Yay! We're getting there. We're nearly there.
It's not a 3 either.
Oh! We're over.
Or a 4. Or a 5, in fact. It's a 2.5.
Oh! So close! So 2.5, 19 and a half, an average score of 3.9. So it doesn't quite get into our Hall of Fame. It's 129th album, so you did really well. 36th of the year, so in the top half of the albums that we have. Very much controversy, very much split opinion of the panel. What do you guys think out there? Big fans of Sleep Token or not? Leave your comments below. Hit the like and subscribe button. We appreciate you doing that for us, and thank you very much. Thank you to my wonderful panel, to my Sleep Token lovers and my Sleep Token meh, and keep on rocking. Goodbye for now.
Bye.
Ah.